Hey, Kodi.
Hey, Steve.
Happy
Hello,
Pride.
darling. Happy Pride.
Exactly. Well, we are in the final countdown to our special offer, and we want you all to take advantage of it. It's now through June 30th, where you can grab a tier. One of two tiers. It's the Virgin or the Sub tier when you go to our Patreon page. And you know, Kodi, when you go to our page and you support us by grabbing one of two tiers, you are supporting Tags Podcast. What could be better?
Right? I love that Patreon provides us with so much consumer feedback and guest feedback, and I love that we get to reach out to you guys and connect in many different ways.
Well, you get special perks when you grab one of two tiers. Like I said, the Virgin or the Sub tier. You get things like commercial free. Who doesn't want that? You get other things like our monthly hangout, where you get to hang out with Kodi and myself.
Can't wait.
And you get extra topics and one whole extra episode per month.
That's
and
amazing.
Yeah, so lots to do. And if you do so by June 30th, the end of Pride month, you will be entered to automatically get our upcoming live stream in July, which will feature your music, Kodi.
I can't wait. I can't wait to perform for you guys. I can't wait to connect with you guys. It's going to just be amazing.
Well, the first few people that grab tiers, I have some extra special things to send you by our sponsor, Joy Mode. So go to patreon.com/TAGSPodcast now through June 30th and grab a tier, the Virgin or the Sub tier. Know that you will be supporting Tags, but you'll get some extra perks plus some swag that I will send for the first few people that subscribe.
Can't wait.
It's patreon.com/TAGSPodcast. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride, everybody.
What is going on? You are listening to Tags Podcast, a.k.a. Talk About Gay Sex Podcast, celebrating 7 years of podcasting, season 8. This is episode 577 on this Pride Week in the studio.
We're all here.
Happy Pride, everybody. Joining us, of course, is Lincoln.
I'm back.
You're
How
back.
are you?
Good.
It's been
Happy
a minute.
Pride. I know. We
Happy
just
Pride.
took your class, Pride class, with all the great music. I loved
It
it
was
so
fun,
much.
right?
Very much so. Great playlist.
Definitely.
Rounding out the equation, Happy Pride, Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darlings. I'm doing well. Happy Pride, everybody. It's so good to be here with y'all.
Exciting.
I know, it's
New York
nice.
Pride. It's really exciting. Let's just start round robin. Who's doing what? Who's doing who for Pride?
Oop, not who.
Who's doing who for Pride?
She was all the tea, honey.
Well, I was saying to Kodi when we were walking over here that we had a really good time at Folsom East this year. It was very fun. It was not overly crowded. It was not overly sold out. It was
Back
easy
on
to-
27th Street.
Yeah, it's back on. It's a full block, and it was just great to see some faces I haven't seen for a long time.
Yeah.
It was also great to see some familiar faces and not need to panic catch up because we just made it through a pandemic, or we
Thank
made it through this,
you.
or we made it through that. You could just say hi and keep walking and not have to have a full download because we're all in crisis. So it
Yeah.
really did feel like non-pandemic, non-crazy street. It felt like San Francisco, actually. I think that's why I liked it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
felt
it's
like
so
home.
much better on 27th Street.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny note on the COVID, a friend of mine that I just traveled with got COVID, and he was like, so 2021 of me. I said, and I wrote, COVID,
it
what's
back.
that?
Yeah. Well, it's still there.
Yes.
And
Pride
people are getting it
plans?
all the time. So Friday, we're doing a full day of Pride at the bakery.
Oh, that's
We're open from 12 to 6, and we're doing a 2-for-1. So you buy a brownie, you get a brownie. We're doing a raffle to win like $250 worth of gift certificates for the bakery and doing some photos. So everyone stop by. That's Friday during the day. And then Friday night, we're doing horse meat disco. Very excited about that. Saturday, the bakery's closed because we get to sleep. And I'm doing a house party on Saturday night. And then Sunday's up in the air.
How early do you open tomorrow, by the way? Sorry, for
Noon.
my own personal.
12 o'clock.
Noon. Okay, shoot. I
He
wanted
might
to
be
get
there at
something.
11, but we're usually open.
Okay. I got a flight tomorrow. But Kodi, what's your plans for Pride?
Well, I'm trying to convince Lincoln to go to the parade with me, but he's still on
Might
the fence.
happen. Okay, might happen. I'm not doubting it.
But then after that, I have plans to go to a rooftop bar called Monarch here in New York City.
Love it.
And that's going to be fun. I'm going to be with some friends. And, of course, I want to see a special someone. I might be, hopefully I'm doing them. We'll see what happens.
Good.
Somebody special?
Yeah, somebody special. Somebody that I...
Or your ex-boyfriend?
His ex-boyfriend can be special.
He can.
Both things can be true. But
Got
I'm not trying to commit to anything right now. It's still up in the air. He's still my ex-boyfriend. So.
Exactly.
There it is.
I sadly won't be in town because this year it's my mom and my sister's birthday. I'm going to the Bay Area, but we're going to celebrate. I will feel the spirit of San Francisco as they celebrate Pride the same weekend.
Yeah.
But I am celebrating this year. I have a new boyfriend. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. Won't be with him on Pride, but I'm excited to just enjoy that this year. So
I'm gonna miss you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
exactly. So, all right. Well, we've got a lot to get into. I want to shout out to Hamilton Vasquez, who's a big listener of us, who shouted out to us on Facebook. He listens to us in Tampa and says, if you like Miami, he really wants us all to check out Tampa because apparently they have a great gay scene out there. So
That's
shout
fun.
out. Thanks for being a loyal listener.
I love Tampa. I
Do
have a really
you?
good friend that lives in that area. She lives in Saint something over
Petersburg?
there.
Oh, St. Petersburg? I don't know.
I don't
I'm
know
talking out of my
either.
ass. I don't know. No, let's not go
I can't
there.
even remember, and I've been there.
Okay, yeah.
That's funny.
Well, we also want to shout out to former Disney star, we've talked about him before, OnlyFans creator now, Dan Benson. He's in a new TMZ documentary out, and he was in the show Wizards of Waverly Place. Did you ever watch that, Kodi?
No, I was a little bit too
not
young
that,
for
yeah.
me.
Well, he's in this new TMZ documentary and talking about OnlyFans and how he got into it. And what he essentially is saying is people, when you would send nudies, nude pics, dick pics, people posted him online. And he kept trying to take them back. And every time he did, 2 more would go up there. And it was a battle. He was losing, not winning. And he's decided to take matters into his own hands and monetize it. And now he's a really big, huge OnlyFans creator, making a lot more money than he ever made over at Wizards of Waverly Place. He was saying he would get a check every 2 months for residuals for like $75.
Wow.
Now, he makes that like times, I don't know what, but he's doing really well.
Yeah.
And
2 very different talents.
2 very different talents.
One is a paid trained actor for a series that gets residuals. One is showing your private stuff on the internet. So I'm glad he's making more money, but it's kind of like apples and oranges.
It is, but I will say...
But it is still his income. So
it's his
there you
income,
go.
and I will say it's not, as somebody who's dabbled in it myself, it's not easy. You really have to be on it. I think he has an advantage because people remember him from Disney.
So that $75 actually started the thing. Otherwise, no one would care.
Exactly. And it kind of reminds me a little of a show I'm watching on Apple TV right now called Dark Matter.
Oh, I want to see it. We haven't started it yet.
About parallel universes, which I'm a huge fan of in general.
That's great.
And it's essentially what if your life took a different direction, and there's all these copies of ourselves in different worlds out there living different lives. There's a different Kodi out there doing totally something, working at a desk job. And there's a Lincoln out there somewhere.
Sliding Doors. Remember Sliding Doors? And it's If Then, which they're having a concert of the If Then musical tonight at Studio 54. Same concept. Yep.
So
Interesting.
I thought it'd be fun in Dan Benson and wondering about parallel universes.
Okay.
What would a different Lincoln be doing in a different parallel universe?
Well, I'm going to pull it back into reality. When I was graduating college in get ready for this, kids, because no one was even born at this year, 1990, I auditioned for The Real World on MTV.
Really?
And I got called back. And my shtick was gay, window display person who was overweight and losing weight. That was my package. And they went with, I'm not going to remember his name. Gosh darn it.
What city was it?
San Francisco, the guy who had HIV
Puck.
and did
Not Puck.
and did
Real World?
did so
Pedro
Zamora.
He did so much for the gay community that some fat boy that worked at the Gap in Benetton would have not been able to do. But I do feel that would have been a parallel universe. So I don't know if I'm answering your question directly, but it's
totally
like, if that window had opened, where would I be now? It was like when I was Hottest Bachelor in People magazine in 2003, I was in every newsstand thinking, oh, this is the beginning of it all. And it never really went, because it's just an article about hottest bachelors and people. You'd think that's, so I wonder what that window would have done.
And isn't it sad, sort of, and it's on the time frame that there was only room for one gay character, that today, if it was
100%.
today, you could, Pedro and you
we could have both been on there, and then we
it.
would have had our like gay contingency of, one thing and another. So, but I love parallel universes. I also love things happen for the reason they are.
Me too.
I would probably still own a small business, and I would probably still be teaching fitness, and I would still be auditioning for things. And so I think, we'll see.
Right. Yeah. I think I would also, like you, go into acting, because I did go to LA to pursue acting and had some modest successes, but given the time frame, I had a manager that was always like, you need to butch it up, and the whole gay thing.
Totally different time.
I was a gangster or a drug dealer that I was going out for. Things that I don't really, people that know me are like, you don't fit that bill just looking at you. But yet, because I was Latino, those were the only roles that I was going to ever be considered for.
In high school, just because we don't always typecast certain things, in high school I did a series of public service things for kids to learn. And the two roles I had, because I was a big boy, they used all my body parts as an adult who molests their child.
What?
And then they put me in.
Oh my God.
I know, isn't that crazy? Just my hand, my foot entering the door. Like if you see this, there's people going through this. And then my best friend was caught shoplifting, and I'm what you end up with in prison. Like when he got to the cell, I was in the corner like, because I was big.
You're a cellmate?
I know.
It's
I
so
was the
wrong.
cellmate.
It's
hilarious.
so wrong, though.
I loved it.
When we think about the past, it's just our depiction of everything is so warped. Not that we're much better today, but Cody, we
were doing the best we could.
We were doing the best we could.
That's wild.
Cody, who would you be in a parallel universe?
I would be Lincoln's cellmate, apparently.
Oh, okay.
No, when I was younger, I really wanted to be a marine biologist. So I think I would be doing some sciencey stuff. If I didn't go the way of the arts, and that's all I can really think of. If I was going down the same line of thinking that Lincoln was, I might be a porn star right now, because I was approached when I was much, much younger and fresher to do porn when I was in Puerto Rico before. So those are the only two. That's the only other
You know what,
thing.
though? Now you just inspired me, because I went to school. I wanted to be a vet.
Okay.
That was my goal when I started. My first job was in a veterinarian clinic, and I really wanted to be a vet.
I could see that
but
for
I can't
you.
read.
Yeah.
And back then, they didn't know what dyslexia and HD and all those things were. So I just listened to lectures and talked to people, and that's how I got A- B+ average, because I can't read.
Yeah.
I'm a very bad reader.
Even today,
like
even
Whoopi,
today, like Whoopi.
Yeah, even today, definitely even today. But remember, medical jargon. I couldn't even be on Grey's Anatomy, let alone be a proper veterinarian.
Ooh, yeah.
It's just too hard.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm a dinner jacket. I'm a dinner jod. Remember when Whoopi spelled it out? I would have to do that with every term in my thing.
Yeah,
It's too hard.
and words that we couldn't even.
Even when I was acting, all the lines would come out backwards.
Wow.
It's not a
Okay.
good,
Yeah.
But then people deal with it.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is the same way. Anyway.
And now there's Audible and things like
And
that.
I listen. Yeah. I finished Barbara's book. Total change
That's a
of
long
subject.
one.
48.5
I
hours.
heard. My
But
friend
it's
read it.
so good.
Yeah.
And if you guys just from gay stuff, if you
This is
listen
Pride
to
Week,
it,
so she's a gay icon.
If you listen to it on Audible, they play the songs when she talks about them.
Oh.
It's really gorgeous. And she tells her story through song, costume, and food. So she'll be talking about like a world concert, and then at the end of the night, they all went and had lo mein at a great Chinese restaurant. You know, like it's a good.
So interesting.
Our
Through line.
family,
It's really well done.
friend, shout out to Kevin Thomas, is a huge Barbara fan, and he was
We're talking about Streisand, right?
Streisand.
Okay, all right. Just
Sorry.
got to clarify.
Yeah.
No, I mean, also for the list.
Barbara, who else would it be?
That was Barbara Walters is who I initially thought we were
God.
talking about. And then
we
started
did
talking-
mention
See?
Whoopi, so I can see where you were
Okay.
going with it. But
But of course, then I eventually fell into Barbara Streisand. But I had
That
to make
is
sure
hilarious.
it's
Well,
something we
maybe
should
our
tell the
audience would
listeners
know.
too.
Whoopi's book is
Exactly.
really good too. Her latest book.
I just
read
got it
that.
from my
Yeah,
mom,
it's really good.
and my friend said that Barbara
Summer
says so many
reading.
details that are like, he's like, she includes so many details that like she didn't even feel that she needed to edit out, like little things.
Yeah, they're really. You feel like you've been hanging with her for a while.
which is cool. She
By
got
the way,
it-
another summer read, total garbage. It has nothing to do with being gray, but you're wearing a T-shirt that says "In this climate," and it talks about how our recycling program is completely failed. And we basically, are you ready for this? I can't wait to see your faces. I'm so happy we're all
I'm
together.
drinking some wine.
With what we consume today, we basically, with the microfibers and microplastics, we consume a credit card a day.
What?
Wait, did you know what I was going to talk about
credit-
next?
Not.
Wait, look at my.
Have I ever known what we're going to talk about next? Oh, wow.
Could you read that though?
Yeah, yes.
I'm kidding.
I'm also colorblind, and I know that's blue. It's all going to be okay.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, that the plastics are in our
Okay,
testicles.
so microplastics. That's so weird that you knew
That is
this
weird.
because microplastics, it's our next topic, audience. Microplastics found in the penis could be linked to erectile dysfunction. A new study says, and scientists suspect dilated blood vessels during erection may lead to microplastics accumulating in penile tissue. And essentially, they're always surrounding us. And because the more you get hard, I read this story earlier, the blood is rushing quickly to that area, and all these, we can't even see them,
No, they're
correct?
micro.
They're micro, and they're finding it because they did a study in semen, correct? To actually
I don't
look at
know.
it. Yeah, that's what this study actually
Again,
looked for.
Can't read. I can listen to an audiobook. It's hunting and pecking with what
Yeah.
sticks around, like everybody.
And essentially, scientists analyzed tissue samples extracted from 5 men who underwent surgery for a prosthesis related to ED. And 7 types of microplastics were found in the penile tissue, with polyethylene and polypropylene being the most prevalent. And these are routinely used in everyday goods like material used for packaging juices and soft drinks. And in spite of its small sample size, the research raises questions about the effects of pollutants. This is scary, kind of, because...
Also, I just kind of want to state, you could be on Grey's Anatomy. You did a really good job.
Oh, my God. I'm sure a doctor out there is, like, cringing. Yeah.
Do
Give
you
me a
guys
little
watch
more...
Grey's Anatomy?
No.
Oh my God!
A
Every
hard
episode
no.
since the beginning, the week it comes out, I love Grey's Anatomy.
Is it still on?
Oh my God, it's so good. It is the empathy we need in our culture. That's why it's number 1 still.
Okay.
It's still in the top 10.
I love it.
Still, it's because we all need the end. So to that point,
Yeah.
it is scary.
Yeah.
But I did find after reading the book, the biggest thing we could do to change is return to the concept of the milkman. Remember how the milkman used to deliver the milk, and then you would put out your glass bottles, and
Your
they would
own
fill
glass
the milk.
bottles?
You know, the plastic bottle is what's killing us.
Oh.
Is to stop using plastic. Try and recycle. When they have like Kiehl's now is coming out with the bag of lotion,
refill.
and you can refill.
Yeah.
That's the biggest way to go. And I read another book about social media hurting our brain. Just put it down. Put down the phone whenever.
Is that
you can.
related to micro?
It's the same kind of concept of it's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like you read things like that, or you read things like this article,
Right.
and you're left scared.
Yeah.
So the only thing that helps me when I'm scared is how do I get out of it, or how do I help it, or how do I fix it?
Yeah.
Right? So at least there is that, like the social media thing, just take a break, put it down.
I mean, it's good because they
Recycle.
can scare you, and I've always been scared of not too scared of catching things by touching surfaces. I mean, in class even today, you were really good because we were on our stomachs doing these airplane things and fluttering our hands up and down, and Lincoln walks by with the towel and says, "Put this under your face." And I was like, "Oh yeah, good thought." But sometimes I'm really like, if I get it, I don't. My friend got COVID. I don't know. Do you worry about these kinds of things?
Yes, I'm a huge hypochondriac.
Oh, you are?
Oh, yeah. I washed my hands when we got back here because I started touching my face.
Well, that's just common sense, though.
Yeah.
That's not being a
But
hypochondriac.
I'm also very...
Germaphobe.
Yeah, I'm extremely aware of people coughing.
Coughing, a biggie for me too.
Yeah, people touching my face, people doing things that could possibly have me get sick. I'm so aware of it, and I think that maybe I'm not a hypochondriac, but I feel like I'm on the verge of it.
I get that.
The
It's
coughing's
also
a
just being
biggie.
conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it's something that it weighs very heavily on my mind. I don't want to get sick anytime. And I work with a lot of people, so I feel like...
Do you wash your hands a lot?
Oh my God, so much. I have eczema too, so I feel like my hands would get very dry, and the top of my nail beds would get very eczema-ish. I don't know if you guys know what eczema looks like.
I do.
But
Yeah.
your skin start to crack
Yep.
and all those types of things, and it can really take a toll on you. So
Of course, yeah.
I pick up garbage every day.
do you?
I pick up I hate venomously, actively, and aggressively hate litter and garbage. I don't understand what the fuck we're doing as
Yeah.
a society that we can throw things on the ground. So I will pick up stuff all the way to the bakery, all the way home, all the way to... And then when I get there, I wash my hands.
Yeah.
And obviously, if it's disgusting, I'm not picking up that. But like just general litter, Peter hates it, but he gets it because I'm so passionate about... This is where I live.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is where we live. If
Right.
we all pick up garbage, 3 pieces of garbage a day, take a plastic bag with you, see?
Yeah.
Take a paper napkin and pick up... We'll live in a cleaner world.
Yeah.
It's
We
just,
will.
it just makes no sense to me.
No, I
I hear what
agree.
you're saying, but I feel
I
like
understand.
for me, I only pick up things that I drop. So if we all picked up our portion, what we drop on the ground, then I think that the world would be a
Well,
much
I don't
better
drop
place.
anything, so
you
I'm
don't?
over.
Oh, okay.
No. But if you throw something out of a car in New York City at a
Oh,
stoplight near
worst
me,
person ever.
I hope they don't have a gun in their glove compartment because I freak out.
Yeah.
I freak out.
But
I
we
shouldn't.
can
It's
back
scary.
to and
Sorry.
these
We're
micro, what are they called? Micro.
There's like microplastics in
Yeah.
your testicles.
I mean, you can get scared. At the beginning of the year, I watched a documentary on Netflix all about vegan or vegetarian and what meat can really do to clog your arteries, but to clog getting erections because it stops the blood flow over time. So you could get, I just think that you got to keep things in perspective too. Well, that you could actually limit your meat on something like this. There's not a lot other than what you maybe suggested. There's not a lot. It's a
Well, you
study.
could just try and...
We all want harder erections, though. So I think watch your meat levels. I take nitric oxide every day, which is about blood flow. I look at,
So is it just by what we consume? I know I'm going to have a himbo moment because I think that I don't quite understand how the microplastics get into our
It's in
system.
the wine in the glass that you're holding.
Mama, don't do that to me.
It's everywhere.
It's the fact.
It's everywhere. And bottled water is worse than tap water. Especially if you live
Really?
in any bottled water, it's not any better than any tap water unless you live in like a nuclear area where, ever in Brockovich area where the water is really tainted. Bottled water, which the plastic containers are killing us, is no better than New York City water.
Yeah, and why the penis? It's because there's the most blood flow, and if you're someone like me that gets a lot of erections all the time,
It's not only there though, just
Yeah,
to,
no,
just
of
to scare
course.
everyone completely.
Yeah.
If we're consuming a credit card a day in microplastics,
Yeah.
hello. So
Right.
it's just something to not be scared about, but just be conscious of.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the world we live in.
Yeah, it is the world.
It's like
we-
having a
and
heat wave.
And it's the more we know.
was
So the
horrible.
science is
Yeah.
out there. So, exactly. Well, Adam Lambert is telling homophobes to get over it, mind your own business. As he was just at We Hope Pride, he was one of the headliners. He's got a new EP out, and I love some of the song titles that he's using. There are things like Wet Dream, Lube, and Cunty is the new single that just came out. And no stranger, we've heard this from Madonna before, putting out sex-positive music out there. This is a new music that's coming out there. And he continued by saying, I'm singing about intimacy, parting, hedonism, and lust, and all the wonderful things that make us bedroom creatures. It's a lot of fun. It's fast. There's some theatricality to it. It has some drama to it, and it's dreamy. I think those are the two words that I would give it. And he reminds us during Pride Month that this is a part of our culture. And I like that, too, because I think for so long, a lot of us wanted to, in our community, distance ourselves from, we're not all about sex. Pride's not all about taking your shirts off. And it's like, but we are a sexual being too. And I think
like, for me, it is.
It can't, yeah. And it's not all who we are. And if all month long, there's great examples all month long of the accomplishments that we're doing. And I don't know, what do you think of Adam Lambert doing music like this and really encouraging us to embrace our sexual side in the bedroom?
I think that's great.
Here we go.
Here we go. I also think someone in PR told him to say something controversial so his music gets noticed.
Okay.
Let's
good.
be honest.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
think,
to be honest, I didn't love the songs. They're okay.
but yet we're talking about
I know,
him,
I know.
so it worked.
I
So
love
that's
him,
great.
but I didn't like the songs
I've
as
never
much.
been over. I keep wanting to love him more than I do. I don't
Except when he
dislike
does
him,
Queen.
but he's
You know he does
not-
Queen.
Even so, he's not Freddie Mercury and he's not George Michael. He's just not.
Yeah.
He's not. He doesn't have that thing for me.
Right.
I'm a very, very, very specific person. Like the entire Broadway season happened this year, and the one thing I fell in love with closed. So I'm an acquired taste. I
I'm
like
trying to guess what that was.
Limpika.
Oh,
I saw
yes.
it 7 times. It was amazing.
Yes.
It was such a great musical, musically
Nominated,
and about-
but sadly, yeah.
Anyway, and Eden
Yeah.
Espinosa, again, it's a voice, it's a character, it's a quality that some people are driven nuts about it, but I indulge in it. But yay,
But
Adam
the
Lambert, I
message,
love
yeah.
him. Yeah, go to town.
What do you think about the message of, without hearing the music, but what he's talking about?
I love his message, and it's something that I aspire to. I'm going to just go ahead and do a quick plug for my own music.
Yes, please.
Yay, maybe you have the edge I'm looking for.
Yes, right.
It's something that I aspire to in my music because my new EP is going to be
Hey,
100%
hey.
about a love story, a queer love story, and making sure that people understand that, yes, we are multifaceted people, but we do have sex.
Thank you.
We are in love.
And do you agree that, like, for a period of time, people wanted to distance ourselves from being too overly sexual?
I
like,
can see that.
For the broader audience?
Oh, definitely. It's something that people, it's called respectability politics, and it happens in the Black community as well. And it's something that you make yourself more palatable to the mainstream. And I don't think that we as queer people should be not watering ourselves down. I know, right? Did you hear it almost come out?
Do I have such a rebuttal on this? I can't wait. Whitewash what?
Exactly.
keep going.
I didn't
Keep
say
going.
that, though.
know
I
you
said
didn't.
watering
Blah.
And I think that we should continue to hold true to ourselves and who we are as a community in order for us to be accepted by people, because we're not just one type of person. We are a multifaceted, diverse community.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, though, that we have to know our history. And I'm just going to say what I say out loud. When I was young, a man being gay meant he wanted to be a woman.
Oh.
And there was
Who said
nothing
that?
about being a woman that had to do with my sexuality.
Right.
And leading, I don't think we had to necessarily water ourselves down. We were being defined by the Catholic Church and conservative right as only wanting to have sex,
Correct.
only swinging from the rafters, only having multiple sex partners. So we did have to open that kaleidoscope of, no, we are nurses and we are doctors and we are veterinarians
Sure.
and we are fitness people, and we bring all of this to the table. And I personally don't need to hear some straight guy talking about how he banged a woman or 20 women last night, or how some woman had great sex. It's not always about the sexual act. And I know we're talking about gay sex.
Yeah.
I know that is our podcast.
Yeah,
I
right.
get that. But at the same time, we don't need to lead with that. And
Right.
at Pride, I think it's now more than ever, the gay chamber has small gay businesses that are receiving awards all over the place. We have lesbians that have an entire world with we have couples that are raising children that are more healthier and evolved children than straight people are raising children.
Right.
There are so many other things that to turn and say Pride is only about sex is immature and not really true, or Pride is not about sex at all.
Yeah.
That's kind of sheltered and not there. So I think you have to open up the whole kaleidoscope.
Absolutely.
And I won't judge you for having a kid.
Right.
If you don't judge me for putting my dick in things that help me feel good.
Yeah.
Or that anyone can judge us about, I'm hitting 5.5 years of monogamy with my partner.
Hey.
We just hit on the
Congratulations.
20th. And the thing is, it's been kind of effortless.
Right.
Because there is a lot of static and immaturity and weirdness when it comes to being open and all that Peter and I just don't find very interesting. Maybe we will one day.
Right.
But at the moment, it just seems fussy
Yeah. I mean,
to me.
one community, speaking, that I feel has been ostracized is the BDSM leather community over the years, and especially in San Francisco. And that's why it's really exciting that in San Francisco, the leather district marks Pride with a new sign. And if you know Dory Alley, there's now leather and LGBTQ cultural district that they're putting signs on, which I think is really exciting because it's going to mark the third area of San Francisco, including the Castro district as another one. The leather and LGBTQ cultural district is marking Pride Month with new place marking signs in San Francisco's South of Market neighborhood as the district finishes its cultural report. And the district's executive director also was recognized by the Board of Supervisors. And essentially, they're going to be in this district that encompasses Howard, Folsom, essentially where the Folsom Street Fair happens, and they're going to offer housing for the community. They're going to have businesses because, San Francisco, there's a lot of open, abandoned businesses now, and they're going to make those community centers.
Oh, wow.
And really offer a lot to the community. And actually, as the story goes, back in the 80s, there was in the 70s, there was 40 plus leather BDSM establishments in the area. Now there's about 11, and they're trying to increase the nightlife again. They're trying to increase the BDSM community. And why did that all end? It was when the AIDS crisis happened. And who did they point to as potential as causing the AIDS epidemic, at least in San Francisco, was the leather community, and which really wasn't right and correct. And I think that it's nice that now they're actually honoring the district with its placards and the community. And you're from the Bay Area. I mean, when you hear
This gives me such a boner. I can't be with it. No, this is so. I love my hometown so
Yeah.
much. It's everything that I think the way we should be doing things,
Right.
as I've talked about on this show before. And this always makes me step in the shit because people get all like, ah.
Right.
This is to Stephen Lincoln's perspective.
Yes.
This is the opposite of tearing down statues. This is what I have been ranting about since we started tearing down statues. If we put up a statue of someone who enslaved people or killed people or did all these bad things as well as the good things, why not explain it?
right.
If you just tear down the statue, throw it away, and it's just an empty field, no one learns anything. Now you can walk down the street and go, wow, that's a statue of someone who did these 3 great things. They did these 10 horrible things, and this is the ground that this happened on. We have come so far. Because if you tear them all down and you make everything disappear, it's all going to happen again.
Listen,
so it's nice
yeah.
that these streets
Right.
are showing our history. And it's not talking about AIDS at all, is it?
No.
It's not talking about death at
No,
all.
it's not
is
at
it?
all. It's
At least
offering.
with the statue thing, we can educate people of like, if this is the way you think, we don't do this anymore in America.
Exactly.
We don't erect statues of people that have hurt other people, and this is why.
Listen, Hamilton wasn't the greatest character in history at all, but it took Lin-Manuel to come up with a reworked version of Hamilton that it was a sold out, figure that we celebrate today. But what do you think about this, Kodi, when you hear about this leather district?
So just to kind of rebut on that, I do think it's problematic to have a statue up of somebody who enslaved people. That bottom line, point blank, period. I think to kind of compromise or find a middle ground with that, maybe we tear down the statue and do like they did in San Francisco and erect something that kind of teaches the whole truth about what history is and says that we do not do this anymore. Because I think that people are shying away from teaching real history nowadays, and I think that that's very, very scary, especially in certain parts of the country.
But if you tear down the statue, you're not going to know history.
I get that, but then erect something that will make sure that the people that were enslaved or that they were.
What about like the Holocaust though? Like if you go to Germany, there's
something to
they do it so well on so many layers.
That were actually hurt by this thing. Make a tribute to them instead of this person that actually enslaved people, because I think that's super problematic.
But again, hear what I said.
No, I get what you're saying.
If you did 10 things really good for the universe,
I don't see what they did as good. I can't see.
People are taking down Lincoln statues, honey. It's my heritage personally, so I know when a Lincoln statue comes down, I personally know it.
Well, I guess,
and he did a lot of great things, but at the time, that's what people of his caliber did.
What it reminds me a little bit of is cancel culture, which I don't feel we're in anymore. I feel like the cancel culture has ended a little bit, thank God. But remember that point a few years ago where if you were canceled, your career was over, and nobody learned really that much from anything
at all,
other than crucifying. I used to think I was for cancel culture, and I've thought differently about it more recently. Would you see that, Kodi, as
it is the same? That's a good point.
Similar in that if we wipe out, get rid of, we don't learn.
I totally get that. I understand that, but
that's why we do Juneteenth, to celebrate the
and I
ending
think that
of
Juneteenth is something that's valid because it is giving reverence to the people that were actually enslaved instead of the people that were doing the enslaving. That's my point. And I think that as far as cancel culture is concerned, I think that it has its time and place. I don't think that people should be canceled forever. I think that cancel culture should give people the mindset that what they're doing is probably problematic, and they should do the work, like you guys are saying, in order to be more aligned with things that are less problematic. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does, but I still push that if you don't understand why the person did what they did in the we just talked about this. Didn't we just say, oh my God, things were so weird back then?
Yeah.
What were you just talking about?
We were talking about, you were talking about the timing of acting. And
that you had to be straight to play a straight character, and your agent would say, butch it up.
Yeah.
Like, we know better now.
Right.
But if you just forget about that happening, and you forget about that completely, you forget where you came from.
It reminds me of Boys in the Band, which was a specific piece
or fellow
of gay
travelers,
very specific
in the
gay in a period. Also, fellow travelers too, that really taught us a lot of really atrocities to our community, but they happened.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. We don't want to belabor.
I hear what you guys are saying.
You get the last word. You get the last word.
What I'm trying to say is, do not erect a statue to the agent. Erect a statue to the actor.
Got it.
Because they are more deserving of being uplifted.
Got it. Okay. Well, let's
I'm
move
good.
on.
I think I've made my point.
You don't have to.
Yeah,
You did make a point. I'm not.
You both made your point. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's good. Let's move on to something a little bit lighter, though. To lights. Actually, lights. And this was a recent discussion that was going online. Lights on.
Thank you. Can I have more wine?
Lights on or off when hooking up? Gay guys illuminated us with their preferences. I said this is going to be a lot lighter, right?
Thank
In this
goodness.
era of LED lamps and voice-activated lighting, okay, Alexa, it's never been easier to set the scene for sexy time. So when you're getting down to business in the bedroom, how many lights do you like? And this caused a whole sensation, surprisingly. And it reminds me, because I brought my boyfriend over recently. You're staying with me currently, Kodi.
Yes.
And the day we went into the bedroom, which isn't a really bedroom, if you know my condo here, I have an area that's my bedroom in the back, but there's no official door, right? So I close these curtains, but my boyfriend was like, turn off the lights. I'm like, completely? I want to see some of you. So I just unscrewed a couple light bulbs in my lamp, and it created a mood. But last night he didn't have a problem because no one was here. But I need a little bit of light, but people were going on like, no, I like to be in the dark. I don't know. You are Mr. LED light over there on 8th Avenue.
I am.
Sorry, no, I won't give your address. We'll give the Protein Bakery. But
Yay! Open house on Friday. 2 for 1.
Exactly.
Happy Pride.
Don't come to his apartment. Go to the Protein Bakery. But how do you like it, the mood?
So, remembering my history, back in the day, it was like 2 candles and a little spit.
Yeah.
Right? Like candlelight.
I love
However,
candlelight.
Candles put soot on your walls, and then you have to repaint if you're the person that I am.
And by the way, are we back to particles too? With
Exactly.
You're
breathing in those particles.
Everything comes back
What
full
the
circle, baby.
The hell is in poppers? Just think about that. Okay.
We're getting to that.
So is
story.
that another story?
It's another story.
Oh my God! I'm like, yes.
You can see the future, bitch. I want to know
It's
the
because
lottery
I paid
numbers.
attention to all the statues, and now I know better. I'm kidding.
Don't start me up again, okay? Take those statues down. No Hitler statues.
If you have the money to invest in Hue lighting, it can be everything.
Yeah.
Hue lighting is a brand. And
Oh.
if you stick with one brand, HUE lighting, you buy a hub, it connects with your internet, you screw in 4 light bulbs, and all of a sudden you can do the whole apartment in red. You could do it all in blue. You could do it normal. In the ceiling at the bakery, there are 40 lights, 20 on one side, 20 on another. And I bought all Hue lighting light bulbs for the entire ceiling. And now I push a button, and I have red, white, and blue for 4th of July, and I have the gay pride flag for Pride.
Now let's
And
talk
I
about your
could do
bedroom
right,
and sex with
and the same there.
Peter.
I have in
The
every
pride- the
room
pride
I have
flag in your
different. I could do a.
What's the color you
know
like?
what? No, this is so crazy. In the Hue app, I should be getting a kickback. For
I was
this.
going to say, are you getting paid for this?
You can set up a lighting scheme on your own, or you could do it off of a photo. Oh. So I took the bedtime stories cover from Madonna, and the entire apartment was like shades of the blue.
Bitch.
I took a Brute flyer email that I got that was pink and blue and did
I
that.
love
and
that
the
color
whole
scheme.
thing electrified the apartment. So yeah, lighting is very, very important. And there is something.
Can I have you
that's
come here
beautiful
and-
about the dark. Sure. Do you want to know my hourly rate? Absolutely.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But it's really, it's a couple $100s when all is said and done, probably. But it makes, but you know me, lighting makes a difference. Scent makes a difference. I'm big on
We're
a
getting to
scent
that,
right now. I'm huge on Henry Rose right now. It's a great fragrance company owned by Michelle Pfeiffer that's non-binary.
Love
I drench
her.
myself in it every day. Like those little details.
Yeah.
We're so up in arms about all the problems in the world. Put on a Hue light, spray a little fragrance, have a multi-plastic in your balls, and you're good to go.
Cody, lights
all I
on,
got.
lights off. What do you like?
Oh, I like to see everything. I like to see your face. I like to see that you're enjoying all of this experience, because Kodi is an experience, darling. Okay. The other night, I was with a friend, and we were having
Ex-boyfriend.
Well, you got to take that out. You can't keep doing that.
Okay.
And we were having a good time, and he said, turn out all the lights. And I said, no, baby, I just want to see your face, and I want to see everything about you. I want to see every inch of you. So I opened the window, opened the curtain to the window, and we had a great time. I love seeing a person's reaction to me making love to them. It's so
I wonder what it is about the
effortless.
people that actually like no lights, like turn off all the lights.
Never underestimate the power of a blindfold.
Yeah, they
It's
said
your
that in this
imagination.
article. Yeah, you're right.
Turn off all the. Peter's really being into that. He wants to shut off the whole world and see and feel and smell and love all the feelings of it. It doesn't need to be visual. And me being such a visual person,
Right.
that is a big, like, if you want to really up the ante with eroticism with me, blindfold me. Are you kidding? And tie down my hands.
Yeah, that I love. But you know what? There is like all of it I like. So sometimes I want the lights on to see, because I love expressions on the face and the little things that, and really when you're intimate with somebody that you really are in love with or just in love with for that night, you kind of want to see all those and you want to talk dirty to them and you want to see how they react to you talking dirty to them. But I love the power of a blindfold moment too. And these are all arsenal things to put in your bag of tricks.
And just like sexuality, no one is right and no one is wrong in what they prefer. However, if you have a standard pedestrian airport lighting light bulb in your bedroom with one switch with no dimmer that goes on and off, you are living like a straight man in a gay world, and you might want to up your game.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Or Dom Top.
Isn't that fair? You could go on Amazon and do a Hue setup kit and get on Fans Only tomorrow.
All right. And your mattress is on the floor.
I always say it wrong. I will always say it wrong.
Well, you were close. You could have went Fans Lee, and that's another one. So, yeah.
What is it called?
Only.
Well, there's OnlyFans, there's Just for Fans, and there's Fans Lee.
See, I like Fans Only because then it puts up a bit of a velvet rope.
Okay, let's start that one.
Fans Only.
Let's give a little bit of advice and hookup.
You don't get that? I like that.
Somebody recently asked the question, hookup culture leads to a lonely life. I admit it, I'm way after a generation that grew up straddling apps that told you how far away the next sexual release was. But damn, every single person I know who hooks up on apps is lonely and unhappy. God, it seems exhausting to keep entertaining strangers in that way. And after the addiction of the new is satiated, they're back on the app and going home alone. And in time of quiet, honestly, they reflect on the insanity of it all. They think I'm lucky because I found love. No, I'm not lucky. There's no such thing. I just loved doing they basically found somebody, and they're essentially saying true love they're essentially saying that too much of hooking up actually can leave you lonely. I'm been single for so long, and there was a time that I really wanted somebody in my life, but I enjoyed hooking up for what it was. It can be lonely at times if you're constantly doing it, I think. I don't know, when you think about what he's saying,
I have a thing.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because I have a thing, because this is the thing.
Yes.
I completely agree 1,000%. I do, because I will never forget this. I will try and make this brief. I swear to God. I went to my first big Pines party, and I was feeling good. And I met someone when I got there that was staying in the same house. And I've never had a party for the night, boyfriend for the night party situation.
Yeah.
Like him and I connected, and all night I was introducing him to everybody I knew.
Oh, I've had that
and
moment.
It was so much
Isn't
fun.
that
And I'm
fun?
like, it is going to be so great. And then he's turned to me and
maybe
he
you're
said,
on extracurriculars, and it makes it even more fun.
Thank you we are on the same
I
path
mean,
tonight.
I know.
I've never done
So
this before.
he said to me, hey, it's about to be sunrise. It's the Pines party in an hour. Let's go back to the house, take showers, put on new outfits. I have some party favors that we can come back and have a great time. And I said, awesome. And I had been single for about 5 years. I had been in relationships all the way up until I was 45. This was about 48 and a half that 49 that this experience happened. And we went back to the house, and he put in Fire Island, there's these little trail, what are they called? The docks that go from house to house.
The decks.
The
It's like
boardwalks, right?
Yeah.
And he turned the key, and he took a step, and he completely stepped off the boardwalk and broke his ankle. Oh. And I picked him up, and I brought him into the house, and I put his foot in the ice maker because it was 6 times the size of my head.
And if somebody has broken their ankle,
it's
awful.
Horrible.
Yeah.
It was like all bets are off. Everything's done. And I put his foot in the ice maker. And right as I did that, a bunch of his friends came back. Because I didn't know this. He was from LA. I didn't know this person at all. He had just been my boyfriend of the night. And he said, hey, you donated Protein Bakery. Go back to the party. I'm fine. So I showered quickly and I ran back to the party. And everyone was on their own track that night by that point. And I remember I tried to just randomly connect with a few people, but they were gone. And I had a good friend who I dated for a little while who did the costumes for all the go-go boys that night. And he was also in this same place of like, what the hell am I doing? And we sat in the middle of the dance floor after the sun came up. There was no one there. And there were all these like garbage around us. And we just were like, we are so alone. Every hookup was fun.
Right.
But then it was gone.
Yeah.
And this was before the pandemic.
Right.
That meat grinder of the pandemic, all those hookups really are gone. They moved to other countries. They moved to other cities. And I remember in that night, I said, you know what? I'm just going to stop.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stop for 3 weeks, maybe 3 months. Let me just knock it off for a little while.
Yeah.
And Peter came into my life.
Oh,
That's beautiful.
It was like it opened the space of, like, I would be at Paddles every Monday, maybe on Thursday. I would be at the Eagle on Saturday. I would have 3 to 6 sex partners a week. It's part of the reason why I don't think with Pride we should always drive as sex as our leader. Like, there's sexual freedom, and then there's sexual addiction and running from your true feelings and not dealing with being an adult and not dealing with the responsibility of kids or a job or all those things that just make you alone. And you have to, some people at some point need to stop, or I should only speak for myself, stop and go, wait a minute, if I stop doing the who, what, when, where, why, who will I be? And then someone will walk into your life. And Peter does not complete me. We talked about Grey's Anatomy before. That's where that line is from.
Oh,
you complete me, right? Peter, no one completes
Right.
me. I am a whole person with who I am. And if I keep sticking my dick in every hole in the universe, I'm just running from the beautiful person I am.
Yeah.
So why not stop for a minute? And if you turn off all the apps, stop having sex, and cause that shake of different behavior, someone else can come into your life that can, it's not better or worse.
Yeah.
I'm not criticizing anyone who does that.
And you're right. And I think with my new boyfriend, I mean, it's so refreshing now. We're having great sex, but he points to my heart. It's like, just know that I'm there in my heart. And I think that's so beautiful. And I'm really loving that and exploring that. But I took a break for a minute too, and he appeared. But we really took time. I've known him for a year now. And we took the time to really get to know each other. And barely a month ago called each other boyfriends. It was not instantaneously. And we're reaping the benefits and the rewards of
Sounds
this.
very healthy. That's great.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. But Kodi, what do you think about this and what he's saying? Different from what we just stated?
No, a shocker. I agree with both of you all the way. And I think that this is something that I have experienced, especially before the pandemic. I started to feel like, because trust me, I enjoyed hooking up a bunch when I was in my 30s, and then I started to get into, no, I'm only 32. So it was like, it was like 35 that I started to experience hooking up became less and less fulfilling. And it was something that it left me feeling a little bit void, I want to say. So I think that as far as me personally, when I would hook up, it would be something that I could not get over the feeling of loneliness. And it was it took me to step back and really come to terms with who I was and how I was presenting myself in the world and what I wanted to get out of my relationships as far as being with other people were concerned. And then I met my ex-boyfriend, and we had a very fulfilling relationship, and then we broke up, and I went back to my old ways. And it's still, to this day, it did not fulfill me in the way as being in a monogamous relationship with the person that I feel like I was meant to be with is fulfilling me. Oh, my God, I'm getting a little emotional.
Can I say 2 things about that are amazing? Marianne Williamson talks about this, that now that magic wand doesn't really work anymore.
Why?
Right?
Please can it come back?
Anonymous magic wand of just having sex with people and walking away and being like, I'm a man. And I also don't want to put that down.
No.
In any way, shape, or form.
No.
Because one, we were put down as gay men for our behavior, which is a problem. And there are a lot of men in the universe that can have multiple sex partners and not feel that loneliness.
Correct.
They can feel fulfilled and they have financial responsibility for themselves and they want to live alone. So it's not like this magic, I'm going to meet someone and you complete me, or I'm going to stop this behavior and feel whole. Like there is enough room for all of us here, and we don't need to put each other down to feel better about what works for us as a man.
And the one area that I think, as a proponent also of some of this, is cruise bars, as opposed to having somebody come over to your apartment or house, is when I meet people in cruise bars and I have fun in the dark room, I can keep it light and airy and not feel lonely. And maybe, and it could be like touching a hot dick. Maybe it's a little bit like sucking and all this stuff. But I also am talking to my friends there. When I have somebody come over to my place, when I've done that for years, and then they leave either that night or the next morning, that's when I can feel a little bit more, and I'm doing that a lot, I can feel lonelier. So as a proponent also of have your fun, for me, cruise bars worked where I didn't feel that
Really?
void, because it was just lighter, it was sexual, but I was in an establishment that encouraged that, but I was also talking to friends and family friends.
What I find fascinating about what you're saying, I had
Yeah.
this epiphany too, is that when I would find someone at the Eagle or out, and I'd be like, come over, because I like my environment, my lighting,
Right. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
My
Full
poppers,
circle,
come
baby.
over. But then we would get to the apartment, and I'm like, well, now you know where I live.
Yeah.
And now you see the paint chip wall in the kitchen, and you meet the dogs.
And it's got
you're
personal.
and all of a sudden, it's like a vulnerability hangover. So there's that balance of, is it a vulnerability hangover or is it that I'm lonely? But I was so vulnerable I think it's cause and effect. That's why I now feel lonely, because I shared all this, including intimacy and a physical act, and possibly the risk of picking something up, which is even more vulnerable. I'm not even talking about AIDS. I'm talking about gonorrhea
Right.
or anything else. Yeah. And then they leave. You don't know their address.
Right.
You don't know what bed they went to.
Do you even know their name? I mean,
Not me.
Probably don't remember
sometimes
that,
I
right?
don't know that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on
And
the
I
night.
don't.
And do
As
I care?
a
Probably
show
not.
that has 577 episodes and is talking
Yeah.
about gay sex,
Right.
I think this is the kernel of the progress that we still have to make,
Yeah.
and the reflection of how far we've come. But we still are at the bottom of the next mountain if we want to really step up,
Yeah.
right?
This is really good,
This
Kodi.
is a great conversation. And I think that for me, because I've reflected on what you said, basically, that you had a connection in when you were hooking up in like a cruise bar. And for me personally, when I hook up in a cruise bar, I feel like I have this connection with that person. And then when I leave, I'm leaving all by myself. I'm going home and sleeping by myself. And I think that made me feel the loneliness even more. So it's the exact opposite of what you were feeling.
When you left.
When I left, I felt very much alone, and I felt very much that the connection that I had, it was special, but now I don't have it anymore, and there's no way that I can get it back.
Yeah, because I think there's always that inkling in the back of your mind when you bring somebody over, or you go to somebody's. At least when I bring people over to I do relate to what Lincoln's. They're seeing my apartment, they're seeing my bed, my sheets. That there is a little bit of an inkling in the back of my head that could this be the one? Could he? And when they leave,
Bitch,
and I
can
don't
I
have
say,
anything.
I marry people in my head all the time. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I've had that role play in my head one too many times, and it can be a little bit lonely because it's like, is this the person that I could have, and why didn't they ask for my number? And boy, was I living in a bubble that burst this morning.
Vulnerability
Yeah.
hangover.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to say about this, and this is really serious, but just take it for what it's worth. I do feel like it stretches the rubber band
Yeah.
of who you are as a person, because the intimacy issues that I have struggled with Peter are because of so many years of behavior of, we'll have sex once out in public, super hot, maybe twice, come over.
Right.
We'll play out all of my magic tricks in the bedroom, and by the fourth time, see ya.
Yeah.
So if you keep saying, see ya, See ya.
What is that doing
You've
to-
taken out all of your magic tricks of the things that you do sexually. You haven't really been intimate. You just kind of played out, I learned this, you learned this, let's have fun. Then when you actually meet the person that you want to be with forever, you hit a point where you're like, well, wow, I've done so much.
What tools
Now
do I
what?
have
Yeah,
now?
like what's next?
What nest have I built
and I think it detonates your ability to be intimate with your partner.
Yeah.
Which is
I
why
hear that.
there is therapy and talk therapy and
Thank goodness.
and
there's hope.
street drugs to have a good time. And
Absolutely.
then
All
have a
the
little
above.
block party at home and yay!
Weed is legal, y'all. So
We have
get it
got-
It doesn't matter what's legal or not. I am a 54, about to be 55-year-old man. I started having sex in public restrooms when I was 12. I've been doing this for a long fucking time
I
in
love
Jemco in Dublin.
Jemco.
And you know what? I was going to
Not
say this
Jemco.
earlier. That's so funny about the whatever we were talking about. When you're that young and you have sex in men's penises are enormous.
Enormous.
Talk about setting a standard because you're so teeny. Do you know what I
remember
mean?
seeing my
Like
dad.
you're so. It's like seeing your
I
father.
remember seeing my dad's and thinking, oh my,
What
it was
the
an
hell?
elephant.
It's just like
No.
I've always said this. If you want a fitness motivation, if you lose weight, your dick will look bigger.
Oh, there it
That's
is.
really good.
I lost 82 pounds and gained 3 inches in my dick. I swear to God. It's same dick, but it just looks huge now because I'm so much smaller.
I was at the Naked
Is
Beach
that
and I
not
know
crazy?
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
'Cause I saw a lot of dicks in all shapes and sizes over the weekend.
Yeah, but you're on a beach. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a growth factor. There's, you know. Kodi doesn't even know what to
Okay.
say. Come on, say something.
I don't know what to say.
Okay, this, you guys, we really got into it, and I love it so much on this Pride Week. This has been
Yay,
amazing.
Happy Pride. This is
Happy
what it's
Pride,
about.
Happy Pride, everybody. We really wish you the best Pride of your life. And you can follow our co-host. You can follow Lincoln. Take advantage of at Protein Bakery. And if you're in New York City, go on June.
This Friday. I don't know the date. 28th? This Friday.
28th, yes, my
It is the
sister's
20th.
birthday.
So this is the thing.
My sister's birthday, June
Oh,
28th.
yay. Peter's birthday is the 26th. It's usually Gay Pride. This
I knew
Wednesday
he
is
was a
Peter's Day.
Cancer.
Yeah. So this Friday, if you're in New York City, if you live in New York, stop by the bakery. Come support a small gay business. You buy a brownie, you get a brownie. So basically everything's half off. You write your name, your phone number, your Instagram handle. You throw it in a bucket. We pull names and give away gift certificates all day. It's a good, feel-good moment. You know what it is? I'm just going to tell you this quickly for a little history. Back in the day, Rocking Horse on 8th Avenue,
Yes.
I used to go to Rocking Horse for Friday night before Pride. They always played the Madonna Confessions album after it came out, and I would sit there and have a margarita and the burrito.
Best
that was
margaritas.
and the burrito that was in 4 parts. Remember that?
Yes.
And I would just sit there and it'd be like the kickoff to Pride. So I said, I want to do it my own way. My shop is very small. You'll be in it for a minute and leave it after 2 minutes, but come by, say hi, show some love, and happy Pride, everyone. I love
And follow him
us
at
being
Protein
together.
Bakery.
At Protein Bakery and at Mad Lincoln for my Instagram.
Have a margarita for me.
Follow-
Waiting for me to drink. Okay.
And while you're doing that, follow Kodi. He's a life coach at KMD Coaching on Instagram, or his personal account at Mr. Maurice. He's got new music coming out. The current single's out, though. Talk about
Yay!
it. Talk about it wherever you get your music. Download it, inspired by this show. Talk about gay sex. Follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. Or go to my Twitter account at TAGSPodcast, where you get a preview of my Just for Fans or my Only Fans. And
Fans only.
fans only, if you want to do that. Yeah.
I have said that since the beginning. It's so bad.
In the
Anyway,
meantime, on this Pride Week,
keep having
gay, hot,
gay
sex.
Yay! With good lighting.
Yes.